Alright, cool. I think we are now live. Hello everyone. As you can see, we are streaming, well I'm streaming from my room in London as all the Vochlea team are working from home. But George, David and that will all be in the chat. If you guys have any questions that I can answer, they'll be there. Or they might join us in the stream for a chat later on, who knows. But yeah, so hope everyone is doing well. Annoyingly, we had a new camera set up that I wanted to use and it's not working, so we'll have to deal with this quality for now. But hopefully the audio quality is better than our usual streams or our last few streams. We're trying to up the quality, so hopefully hopefully you can hear what I'm saying now, as opposed to our large echoey office that we normally work in. But yeah, as usual, if you guys have any questions or anything that you want to know, then fire away in the chat and we'll answer. If you any demos or stuff, then yeah, let us know. We'll do it all on the stream. Kenneth says hello from Philadelphia. Hello. What time is it over there at the moment? We're currently, it's just lunchtime at the moment now in the UK, and it is a lovely sunny day. I'm really lucky during the quarantine. I have a little rooftop space. Maybe we could do an outdoor stream with some synths and stuff. It'd be very noisy, but hello to everyone. Right, so we've got a few questions on our usual forms and stuff, so we can start with some of those, and then if you guys got anything that you want to see or want to know, then let us know in the chat. I hope everyone's isolation is going well. This is prime music making time, so it's a good opportunity to crack on with stuff. But I guess we'll start with some of the questions from the forums, whilst may as well just kick it off straight away. So we had just a few on the forums. Let me have a quick look through. Someone asked will there be a replay of this, because they won't be able to make it. So I guess you won't be able to see this if you're live on stream, but yeah, all these streams and all these videos get loaded to our YouTube channel pretty much straight away after. And so I guess we'll start with a question we had from Robin Hegel. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, apologies. But Robin says, is there a good way for Cubase? I'm not really sure. So yeah, it works with Cubase like it works with all DAWs. You can we've got a little setup thing, but yeah, it's basically the same with any DAW. And he also said, does it go with ASIO Yamaha or ASIO for all, or just your ASIO? So when it comes to ASIO drivers on Windows, our ASIO driver is just for our software, but you can use then in your DAW ASIO for all or something, or we recommend using something like ASIO for all. Or if you have something else like ASIO Yamaha, which I presume comes with some sort of Yamaha interface or something, then yeah, totally, you can use it with those for the kind of low latency when you're on Windows. There you go, one question down. We also had a question from Tony. Tony Stam says, what if we put the mic into a snare? Can I load up different sounds to trigger for MIDI? He says, I can do all this with Applesoft programs. So I looked at this before. Applesoft, it's like a plugin that is effects. I'm not sure. So basically, if you're talking about snare sounds, that the program that you mentioned, Applesoft programs, doesn't actually, that's like audio effects. So it's affecting and changing incoming audio. But what we do is we're not changing or affecting any audio that's coming in, say via a mic. What we're doing is taking audio in and converting that into MIDI information. So yeah, it doesn't really matter what you do with that audio, because we're not changing anything in terms of an audio file. It's just about converting it straight into MIDI. So if you said, sorry if I've misunderstood this, but what if we put the mic into a snare? Can I load up different sounds to trigger for MIDI? I mean, yeah, you could. If you mic'd up and trained a trigger for a snare, then you could use that snare to trigger different sounds in your DAW, for example. So there's all those sorts of things that you could do, definitely. So there's a couple of questions also from, what was there one more from this? Yeah, so I guess we normally do demo stuff as well, and there's a couple of questions that always ask about like demo things. So I see there's a couple in the chat here as well. Best sounds to use for controls. By controls, do you mean like pitch, or do you mean like the control dials, like the valve stuff? Which one? And also, what's the latency setup that works best? Ableton sound preferences. So yeah, we can go over to Ableton for a bit. I guess we'll talk about low latency first. Right, let me switch over on here so you guys can see. Right, Ableton. So I've got Ableton here just with a couple of synths loaded up. But in terms of low latency, it depends whether you're on Mac or PC, as in terms of what you do or what you see. But in the preferences, basically here there's the buffer size, and basically anything from like 256 or below will be best for like the lowest latency. So I've got at the moment is 128. It's finding about what your thing can handle, and there's other things as well you can do to reduce latency, which is basically helping your CPU load. So I've got the in-out sample rate pretty low here as well. You can turn this to normal. There's a few things like that you can do to basically reduce latency. So I've got the buffer size here as well, and my driver type because of my Mac is Core Audio. But if you're on PC, then you want to make sure you're using a different driver, such as ideally if you've got like an audio interface that will have a driver that you can use that. Alternatively, you can use what I mentioned just a bit earlier, was like ASIO for all, which is also like a low latency driver. I'm just going to actually quickly, because whilst I'm on this screen I can't see the chat unless I flip between, so I'm just going to get the stream up on my phone and then I can keep an eye on it, what you guys are saying. How is everyone's music making been going? Have you all been I feel like there's going to be an influx of releases after this quarantine, so I'm excited to see what what everyone's been making. Right, okay, cool. We have the chat. So we also had a question from, let me find the name quickly, I'll go on the forums, from Mark Scoff, who basically is asking about using doubler for like fast and quick like vocal runs, or sort of like pitch recognition when you're doing like fast melodies. So there are a few different things you're doing. I'll get rid of some of these. Let me just load in. So I'm just going to load in a super simple synth. So this is basically, this synth here is just, let me change this. Hold on, let me get rid of this. Got a I just make it higher so you can sort of hear it in those higher ranges. So yeah, just a simple sine wave. Yeah, so in terms of doing like fast runs, so there's a few of like the tips that we always say, which is basically just things like making sure you've got note restriction on, so that it's, you're not hitting any notes, because when you're doing fast runs, the difficulty is, any pitch detector struggles a bit because there's lots of other sounds going on aside from the pitch, lots of kind of like percussive sounds and stuff. So yeah, so when the note restriction, so you got your note restriction on, and then also it's a lot about your input. So it's going to be making sure you're using like percussive sounds. So instead of going like you're going like da 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 da. So if we're going da 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 da, it's hitting those notes pretty quickly, like da 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 da. But the thing is, because you're actually not, there's not much time of you actually making a pitch sound. It's more just a percussive thing. So it is going to be a bit of a struggle. So there's different workarounds you can do. Say if you're going like da 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 da. In the end, I'm not actually making too many pitch sounds, just making percussion. So there's a few different things if you are going really fast outside from our normal kind of pitch tips. We did actually upload recently a video on pitch stuff if you want to watch on YouTube. But if you're putting in stuff, you know, that's particularly quick, there's a few different things you could do. Maybe you could do something. So if I want like da 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 da, I can try put it in first. Da 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 da. You know, it's maybe getting it of that a couple of times. Da 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 da. But I can do that maybe just something simply like a little bit slower, like da 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 da. Went a bit wrong at the end, but say I've got just, you know, there's little things you can do in your DAW, like speeding it up, like there. You know, which is just like a little workaround. But in terms of actually using doubler in the input, it's making sure you're using like percussive sounds to make sure you're marking the beginning of each note properly, and you know, making sure that you are making a pitch sound and you're not just going like as you're quickly singing different things. Yeah, I mean, there's a few different things. Like I said, I recommend watching that that YouTube video that's most recent about performance tips pitch, because George also talks about different things like using a trigger to lay down and mark the point that you want the note to come in, so you can like realign them, which is a good little tip. But also, I've just seen in the chat Tom Lim, who's saying, I was wondering if doubler works better with certain sounds. I've tried doing simple bass lines and it reacts differently to other sounds. So yeah, it does work a little bit differently. It's not so much that it works differently with doubler, it's more that different synths and different sounds will work differently with MIDI information. So, you know, say if I've got, like, even on this synth, if you start changing different things, you start getting different sounds going on. So say if I just do something simple, let me put this down. Da, 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 da. So that's fairly simple, but if I even put, say, something like distortion on here, on this little effects bit in the synth, da, 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 you see I'm getting like a bit of modulation going on with that during the time. So, so yeah, it will start reacting differently to different synths, and it's just about adjusting things as well. So say in here, let me just turn that off. You've got like attack, decay, sustain, release are also a big important thing of how it sounds, like boo, ba, boo. If I put the attack up, then boo, ba, boo, boo, ba, boo. You know, it's starting to react differently to my voice. It's about twiddling with it's still working? Am I still on? I might have just dropped out for a second. Alright, I think it's cool. Well, alright, I think I'm back on now. There's a bit of lag, so I'm kind of watching it back, but I think we're all okay. I think, yeah, I got a notification thing from my internet thing being like, everyone's using the internet at the moment, so services might be a bit shit. So, but we seem to be back on. So yeah, different sounds, I'm back. Right, so different sounds will do different things, you know, with MIDI information. It's not necessarily doubler in general, it's about, because you're using your voice, you know, how you sing something doesn't always get translated because it's putting into MIDI information. You know, we take things like the timbre and the vowels and various bits and bobs, but all that's coming out is MIDI information, and that's going to react differently depending on your settings. So yeah, it's a bit of fiddling around, but also just past that. So yeah, there was also a question: best sounds of your mouth transfer melody from your head to DAW. So like I mentioned before, this is in our tips video, but it's different for everyone. But for me, in terms of the sounds you're making with the pitch in your mouth. Hold on, let me go back to this. So like the biggest thing for me is making sure I'm not gliding between notes when I'm singing melodies, which I often do with my voice, you know, instead of going like da 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 da, because it's going to hit all the notes in between. just making sure I'm separating notes, going da 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 to sing melodies down. Alright, cool. So yes, there's little things like that, and also, you know, there's a difference in confidence as well, making sure I'm not mumbling, going like but singing staccato and sort of like confidently da 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 da. You know, you're going to get quite different results from that. But we've had a lot of stuff on melodies, so I thought maybe what we could do later on in the stream is, let's not do percussion, but let's just lay down different melodies using like one synth, create a little sort of synth symphony, if you like, where we just lay down different melodies on top of each other, and we can try different things and layer it all up and see what happens. It sounds like Max asking about 808. So I mean, 808s, I mean, we've done a lot of stuff, because so 808s are just like is a drum machine, right? So an 808, we've done we've done stuff about an 808 drum machine. Let me go back to Ableton. So, you know, you can load in your rack, and if you've got samples from a bass line or whatever, then working with samples in the pitch will work exactly the same with any other sample or plugin or pitch stuff, as in that, you know, it's about using those techniques, and maybe, you know, it might be reacting to different synth, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's going to work the same as any other sample. D says, what's the best way to check for updates? So if you want updates, you'll get a notification on your app for any major updates. So if anything drastic has changed, then you'll get a thing saying, you know, please upgrade to the latest update. But if not, if there's a little update that you want to be sure, basically you can just go to our download page at any point and just re-download Doubler, and then basically, yeah, you can just delete your old one and download the new one. But yeah, there haven't been any updates for a while, but like I said, if there's any major updates, you'll get a notification on your app which will say, please download the latest one. Yeah, so I guess, should we have a little play around with layering up some melodies? I don't know what will happen with this. This could go all over the place. Oops, sorry, just a question here. I understand system requirements at 10.12 plus. Is there any way it may be used with an earlier OS? And if so, do you know? So unfortunately, it doesn't work with 10.12. I think David might be in this chat, so he might be able to answer this question better. But basically, I think I'm going to say something really wrong here. Whatever like programming language was used to code changed from 10.12 upwards, and we used that newer thing. So it basically just won't run at all from 10.12, like previous versions. But I'm going to let David, who hopefully is in the chat, who's our CTO, going to field that question, because I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to that. But right, yeah, let's layer up some melodies. I'm just going to pick like a simple synth. No, actually, you know what I might do? I'm just going to do this in OBS quickly. I'm going to add a little me in the bottom so you can see. This is very professional, isn't it? So you can see my face as we're doing this. Right, here I am. Stick me down there. Right, okay. So I'm here now. Yeah, here's David. He's in the chat. He'll be able to field that question. Right, okay, that's looking good. I'm there now. Right, so as I mentioned before, well, let's just stick to this synth. I've got I'll turn this to distortion. I'm going to put on quantization, because if we keep recording in lots of melodies, I want to make sure it stays in time. We'll start with something rhythmic and layer that up, and then we'll do different types of melodies, and then Yeah, sorry, I'm just reading the chat at the same time. We'll start with something rhythmic and then we'll build on top of it and see what happens, see where we get to eventually. Yeah, so you know, that's another tip as well that I mentioned, that I normally do a couple of takes, and you see in this first take that I did, I'm still being a little bit hesitant, and so I've got a few more ghost notes, whereas when I just sort of repeat the melody again, I had one from the beginning, but all the notes are pretty much clean. So that's the big thing for me as well, like doing it over and over again. So like, just like doing it a few times, like you would with the melody, say, in a MIDI keyboard, whilst you're playing things over and over, to really get the best take and to make sure that's kind of like the best it can be. I'm just going to crop this to there. Okay. I'm going to put that back on. And it adds a bit of rhythm as well on that distortion. Alright, synth melody. We're just going to use the same synth. Like I said, let's just keep layering stuff until we get a sort of whole orchestra of a synth playing different things with different melodies. And then, you know, hopefully this is like, you can see how it's laying down and how you might get, for different melodies, different techniques for getting the best MIDI. Someone also said running into latency issues in FL Studio. What's the best thing to do if you're having, say, something specific, is to drop us a line at help@vochlea.co.uk. Let us know, like, if you're on Windows, if you're on Mac, your FL Studio version, and just send us like how bad, sort of giving us an idea of how bad the latency is and stuff, and then we can sort of find out, because, you know, latency is really specific. It's really specific to different people's setups. So yeah, drop us a line at help@vochlea.co.uk. Then we'll be able to take a look at your specific problem and see if we can help fix it. Right, what are we at? Layering. This has still got the higher attack from earlier, but it sounds kind of nice. Okay. So you notice for like that one, the second one, the attack was a bit higher, and as I was singing, instead of doing more like ba ba, I was kind of going like ha 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 ha, and I was gliding between the notes to get that kind of like sound, because it's got that higher attack. Right, that needs an EQ for sure. It's pretty sharp. Alright, another synth. They're starting to build up. This could get messy. Right, let's go lower now and do. Yeah, let's put that in and then we'll mess around with it on Ableton. Can't quite hear it. Maybe we should change the. Oh, you know what? I'm taking info from the triggers, that's why I'm getting all these. Thought it sounded a bit off. That's also another, I'm really bad for that. Making sure it's receiving information from the right MIDI channel is key. You know what, let's put that back on. So. I didn't quite time it right in the melody. Let's put it the one. Actually, it's re-recorded. I didn't get the timer right there. Boom, boom. Alright. Alright, that's better. That's obviously, that's not even a tip, but using the metronome. It's something I always forget to do. I'm trying to put in things and then I'm like, I can't quite get the timing of this, and then right. Let's put a bit of movement in that bass line actually. Maybe a phase. Something rhythmic. Alright, our little composition is coming along a bit now. We want some of that bass in the EQ. Sorry, just a question there. What is the best tips for using on a Windows PC in regards to latency, especially if you have an audio interface such as sound card? So yeah, so Windows PC, like I said, the main thing is often about your like audio driver. So if you have an audio interface / sound card, it's making sure that that's basically. Oh, here you go, David's answered. So it's the correct driver ASIO and making sure that you use that as the output. I mean, yeah, David's catching these before I do, which is good. How do you set up double a battery 4 in FL Studio on PC? I don't have FL on this computer, but when loading in the plugin, it's exactly the same. So I can show you quickly now if I just load in battery. Maybe, I said I wasn't going to do percussion, but maybe if we load in battery, we'll see what will go on top of this. So, battery, where are we at? So regardless of what DAW you're in, battery pops up like this. And so you've got your sample bank, and let's load in a kit. What kit is this? Oh, hold on, I haven't got my hard drive plugged in. Let me put it in quickly. There we go. Right, let me load it back in now. I've plugged my hard drive in. No, not that one. This one. What's this? Yeah, so basically, once you've got battery loaded up, this will be the same in FL as the same in any DAW because this also runs as a standalone. So in Doubler, I've just got my 4 triggers here, so which are my different sounds, and you'll see here that these are related to, this is on C1, this one's on C#1, and so basically each of these different samples on top here relates to that. So this top left box here, oh, if I click off that trigger, so this box here is C1, this box here is C#1, this here D1, and so on and so forth. So if you go through it, that's what each of those things, and you can move them around there as well. So it's about finding what about like what samples you want to use, but you know, you can move different things around. Let's got a bit of delay on that. But yeah, basically how battery works is that, yeah, this one is C1 and it goes across all of these. So all of the sounds that you've got and the triggers will basically just go in a chronological order, like, yeah, so my bass drum C1 will be that top left, and then, yeah, that's sort of how it works. I don't know, should we try put something on top of this? Alright, why not? It's sounding quite dramatic so far. Right, let's do it anyway. And then whoever was at, yeah, so who was asking about battery, and then once the MIDI's in, this will be the same as FL, it's coming out as the notes. You know, if you use drum racks, you'll see it's labelled, but here it's just coming out of those notes that are assigned in battery. Yeah, that's basically it. Put a bit of attack on those. Reduce that reverb a bit, it's a bit much, isn't it? "28 days later," but you know what? Yeah. The artist is influenced by their surroundings, right? Maybe this is... I'm not sure about that phase anymore, actually. I might change that phase. Maybe, actually. You know what we should do? Maybe let's have that bass panning a bit, and that'll make it a bit more, that'll give it movement but without that phasiness. This one's for the headphone users. Bit of stereo panning. Let's put it on a rhythm. Okay. Let's put an EQ on those drums so we can make this a bit more interesting. Let's put on a delay. Yeah, that's kind of alien pong groove. But I think that kind of fits the vibe a bit. like if you notice as well, I'm using a lot of these plugins called like sound from the people at Sound Toys. They have really great plugins. I definitely recommend checking out their plugins. They also do a really generous educational discount if you're a student or a teacher or whatever. That's how I got mine when I was still a student. I got it all for cheap, but they're super good. I'm becoming a bit unsure on this. Let's add another. Right, we need more synths. Let's add in another synth there. Oh, you know what, actually, let's use... sorry, what's that? Would you say a Z attack on a synth bass with doubler would have more resonant sibilant buzz than a D or a buzz sound? Yeah, for sure. Like, if you're doing like a Z sound when you're showing like Z, there's so much more harmonics than if you're going like da da ba ba z, z. There's loads of other harmonics that is making it. It's going to make it more difficult for it to pick up. So yeah, I would definitely say that a da or a ba sound is a lot more cleaner in terms of like what you're going to get out. But I mean, have a mess around with it. Also, I guess you could try if you had like pitch bend on or something. You're going like zzz, it would follow the vibrato of that kind of like initial Z attack sound. But yeah, let's load in. What have we got? Some spooky sounds here. We'll do some more paddy stuff, and then let's do another top line on top of that, like a bit of a faster paced melody, like someone was saying, so we can like put in that kind of. Oh, it's loading very slowly. Right. Done it, done. Not too keen on that. Let's do an even lower one again. Ba 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 ba. I can't even hear that. Ba ba alright, cool, let's go with that. Ba 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 ba. Again, maybe. Okay. Sounds nice. I reckon it can be bigger. Let's go bigger. Called Beatbox Killer. This thing. Some people thought we were that. Some beatboxers thought we were Doubler was the end of beatboxing, but no, it turns out it's not. Right, let's turn that saturation down a little bit. There we go. So let's do a fast line on top of that now. I'm not quite sure what genre we're in right now. We've gone Alright, cool. Let's see if we can come up with something on top of that. See, I have to put in the percussive sound there to make sure I can hit that quick enough. I think one of those takes it. Right, that's what I wanted. This one here. And then put this one. Let's put what do you think this needs? Does this need something else? What do you guys think we got? I mean, it's pretty cinematic as it sounds. Let's do that on this one actually. I think because of the effects we put on that other drum, we could maybe do other drums that are actually a bit more bassier. What have we got? Actually, let's just do. Let's just slowly kick in, then we can just put that. I don't know if I like that actually. Alright, well, I think that's, that's a bit of a beat, unless you guys want to see if there's something else. Is there anything else that you guys want to see, like melody-wise, or percussion, or if there's anything else? We've sort of made I don't know what genre this is. This is like a cinematic emo-tronica. But yeah, how long have we been on? What time are we on? Can you pitch them by singing them and changing the octave? Yeah, for sure. So like, as in like, are you talking about that kick in general? If you got that, so I'm just receiving it from there, but. Oh no, actually I think on that plugin there the pitch is actually just controlled by that pitch wheel there. So yeah, so it won't change at all. But yeah, if you did that with something else, say if I load in a sample, just like a drum sample, it doesn't really matter what, something kick. Is there a sub kick you can sort of hear? So yeah, so this is just like a sub that you can. And then if I go down, you hear it's always playing that tone because it's at set one, but you can change the pitch of it. Oh, it's taking the triggers as well. I set that just a pitch. So yeah, you can change pitch with samples and stuff. A lead line, you want to do a lead line over this. Lead line. Put another synth in to do a lead line, and then we'll finish this up with that. Come on. Let's have a different synth actually. What have we got? Maybe we should just stick with that one. So if I have a very short range, I can actually go up. Or maybe going down. I'm struggling to hit those notes. Nearly. That last one was okay. The quantizer. Not quite, but it's nearly there. If I spent a bit more time, my computer is definitely struggling quite a bit right now with all these plugins in. Tracking's improved with the latest. I mean, like, yeah, it's something that's we're going to be carrying on with it for sure anyway, like with each update. We've got a few little things, I'm not going to give away what, but we've got a few things right now that we're working on that, you know, hopefully help improve the pitch experience in general, not just the tracking, but also just like things like pitch detection and key lock and various things like that. Right, now let me go back to this. Right, okay, how long have we been on actually? Nearly an hour, blimey. Just got lost sat around making some very strange music. But yeah, right, okay, well, thanks for watching. If you guys have anything that you want to see in the future, or just got any questions in general, you can always message us on our socials and all that kind of bits and bobs, and we'll try to do it. You know, we can try to do a video whilst we're at home. We're going to be doing more streams as well. If you're not in our private group or you want to be, you can we've got a private group on Facebook where we're doing a stream sort of similar to this, a bit more casual, where we just sit around making some tunes and stuff, so you can join us for those. Our AMAs will be as usual, and yeah, also whilst you guys are isolated and all that, then please show us what you're making. It doesn't even have to be with W. If you guys are just making music, whatever, please send it our way. We want to know what you guys are working on and everything. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, and I guess I'll see you very soon. Alright, thanks guys, bye.